I love talking about this process of breaking away from identification with thought. Indeed, this is a big part of the journey towards awakening. And the biggest relief I ever had was when I suddenly came to realize that the thought that came up and I were two entirely distinct things. It's such a relief when you figure out that comparing yourself to others, craving for more, or the low self-esteem that comes up are simply not who you are. Instead, they are just patterns that if you dwell on them too much or get caught up in, can drag you into a kind of prison, a cycle of endless, incessant suffering. Throughout this video, I want to share how to let go of identifying with thoughts and tune into the space in which these manifestations show up. Recognizing this space could bring you to an instant awakening in less than a split second. For something to show up, for thoughts to come up, there needs to be a conscious space. Thoughts need a silence to emerge. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be noticed. Without this conscious space, thoughts wouldn't be around. Nothing would exist, and you wouldn't exist either, because you are this silence. So the invitation here is to tune into this silence, to tune into this conscious space, and recognize it as yourself. If you hold on to the belief that you are your thoughts, that your thoughts somehow belong to you, the question is, who are you when you tap into this no thought space, no mind space, to this gap between two thoughts? That's the question. What is this I that we refer to as the thinker? For the thinker to stick around, it relies on the past, on memories, or aiming for a goal in an imaginary future. The thinker is a pure invention created by the psychological mind, brought about by the mind. You need to understand that the mind works through a movement in time. So, what is this I if we instantly let go of past and future? So take a moment with that, take a moment. I know this question can throw someone's mind off balance, because the mind cannot answer this. If answered well, the mind fades away, the mind disappears. We always say you must detach yourself from thoughts, but that's not entirely true. So the purpose here is to recognize the false self, the sense of personhood, the you that you think you are, as illusion created by the mind, brought about by the mind. And the goal is to profoundly realize the ever-present consciousness that we are at a deeper level, the consciousness in which even the false self shows up in. Actually, by recognizing this, the identification with thoughts will naturally fall away. The sense of a contracted self that constantly seeks out, wants, even desires, shows up within you and appropriates the thoughts for itself, claiming them as its own. All this crazy whirlpool springs up within the timeless, unchanging, unbounded you. So let's realize this together. You can close your eyes if you want to. Simply sit down with yourself. Or I could say simply be. Let everything come up. Everything is welcome for you. If a sensation or a thought arise, don't cling. Simply be the witness. Let them come. Let them play a bit and let them go. What has always been here with you. What is here right now. Try to find a space between two thoughts. If something arises in your field of consciousness, return to being. What lies between two thoughts? Try to open up the gap between two thoughts. Return to being, to simply be. Don't try to control the mind. Don't fight the mind either. You can focus on your breath. You can put your attention on the breath, on the act of breathing. It will help you to increase the gap between two thoughts. Let's dive into what we are. Let's dive into what we have always been. There is no gender here. It's colorless. It has no form either. It's infinite. Return to being. So what are you right now? without memories, without past and future. What are you? Here and now. Without a physical body either. What are you? The non-answer is the answer. What are you in the absence of the mind, in the absence of thoughts? There is something timeless here. Something that is unchanging, that is still. If you have found this gap between two thoughts, dive into it deeper. It's like you take a step backward as the witness of everything, of my voice, of any manifestations, any sensations. If you see something, it's not you. What you are cannot be seen. It cannot be perceived. Consciousness precedes everything. It's prior to everything. Here you can surrender everything. Abide as that, as long as possible. Much love, guys.